race for New York governor is getting nasty and personal. On Wednesday night, a New York Post reporter confronted New York gubernatorial candidate Carl Paladino, claiming that he made allegations against his opponent, Andrew Cuomo. Things turned ugly very quickly. Let's take a look.
I want to know why you sent your goons after my daughter.
I sent no one after.
Oh, I want to know, Fred. I want to know about
your charge against Cuomo. Do you have the evidence or do you not?
Fred, fingers don't.
I will, at the appropriate time, you're going to hear it.
He's got three daughters. How can you say that about him?
Oh, I have a daughter too,
Fred.
You
talked about her.
I have a daughter.
You brought it out.
Fred, that's it.
Stay away from me. What evidence do you have?
Listen, all right?
You ever hear about when did you stop
send one of your goons after my daughter? Send it one more time. You're his stalking horse, Fred Dick. You're his stalking horse.
What's the evidence?
You're his bird dog.
You made the charge.
You send another goon to my daughter's house and he'll take you out, buddy.
You're going to take me out?
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
Watch.
What are you, threatening me?
And joining me now is one of the men you just saw. That is Republican New York gubernatorial candidate Carl Paladino. Carl, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, there's a lot going on there. The first is the initial question that Fred Dicker asked you, the New York Post, and that was about Andrew Cuomo, and you were raising questions about whether he had had an extramarital affair, and you're saying no, that's not what you said, and that that was actually a remark you made about people asking you questions about your personal life. Can you explain it?
Sean, I'm just your regular guy. I live the American dream. I'm a father. And when somebody comes and confronts me and puts a microphone in my face and starts demanding, he interrupted another conversation, and starts demanding answers, and I looked at him, and when I noticed it was Fred Dicker, I said, what is this about? Why do you go and you stalk my daughter? How do you expect me to react to you? For God's sakes, you're putting my daughter in danger by sending reporters to her home. How bad is that? And yes, I got excited. You know, and obviously I was reacting to an attack by him.
All right, let me just say I agree with you. Based on there were a number of incidents, for people that don't know, at your home where your 10-year-old daughter, where photographers were camped outside your house and taking pictures of your 10-year-old daughter. You confronted them once, they went away, and they came back. Is that the story?
Yes, sir.
All right, I think that's justifiable anger. I really do.
We had an interim meeting with that reporter and explained to her and her photographer that my daughter was off limits. And she nevertheless went back the next day while I was in Queens at the parade, at the Columbus Day Parade. She went back to the house again. Yeah, and obviously intimidated.
Because the New York Post is saying it wasn't them, that it might have been some other photographer. Are you certain that that was the New York Post?
It was the same girl. It was Amber, a girl named Amber.
Who works for the Post?
Who works for the Post and works for Dicker. Dicker is the senior political editor for the New York Post. This is his team. These are his people. Well, for God's sakes, Mr. Dicker, you know, I mean, he's moved from being a journalist to being an advocate, and that's wrong. I mean, I'm totally fed up with the gutter stuff that Andrew Cuomo has thrown at us. You know, when Spitzer comes out and says that he's a nasty, dirty man, I think it's an understatement. It's just terrible the way he's reacted by sending every bird dog, every stalking horse that he has out to pursue us in the last week and a half. He sent out the Three Stooges first, Koch, D'Amato, and McCall, and then he sends out Bloomberg and Patterson, and they all make their remarks, and they're all, none of them have to do with the real issues that are facing the people of the state of New York. We've been talking issues since day one. Andrew refuses to come out and talk about it. Tell us how you stand on Obamacare. Explain to the people why they should take on this burden and this expense, this tax expense, why they should give up their kids' college fund for Obamacare. Explain that to the people, Andrew. Come on out and explain why you are fit for office. Explain to the people the Farkas affair. Explain why Mr. Farkas got a pass, why this man was allowed to walk after stealing millions and millions of dollars from the American public at HUD. And his inspector general wanted to prosecute, and Andrew put his thumb on it. And then, shortly after he leaves his job at HUD, he takes a bribe of $1.2 million. Now, you tell me that that's not an important thing for the people of the state of New York to come to an understanding on. It's enough of him saying that he can stay above the fray and send his bird dogs
Well,
out.
it was interesting because even the New York Times, of all places, suggested that he needs to come out and take you seriously and deal with the issues and stop hiding. You had the Amsterdam News with an editorial in New York suggesting that he has done nothing for the African-American community. Number two, and I agree with you because I live in New York. New York is broke. It is busted. It is bankrupt. And things are getting worse. As I watch all this go on and the confrontation and the way the media has portrayed you, do you worry? Are you concerned? Because you got some interesting ideas to me that you want to cut spending by. Well, hang on. You want to cut spending by 20%. You want to cut taxes by 10%. You want to get the budget in balance. Do you think all of this is a distraction in any way? In terms of your ability to get your message out?
The people of the state of New York want to know about jobs. They want something. They want a grounded government that they can talk to their children and their grandchildren, and they can explain the future to them. They want to feel grounded. And this government that we have in Albany today is despicable. They have so maltreated the people of the state of New York. Overspending, out of sight. $15 billion in new taxes in the last 2 years, and they couldn't find one state employee out of 298,341 people. Couldn't find one to lay off. $137 billion budget for 19 million people. In the state of Florida is $76 billion for 18.2 million people.
And you're saying you only want to run for one term and you want to take on all those special interest groups. Back to my original question, did you suggest that Andrew Cuomo, that you had evidence that he had had an affair? Did you say that? Because you said you did not say that.
I'm moving beyond all that. I am absolutely moving beyond it. I am not going to get down in their gutter anymore. We're not talking about marriage. We're not talking about my family anymore. Yeah. I am not dealing with it. That's enough. I've had it with that nonsense. We're going to talk about issues. We've demanded that we demanded on primary day that he come out and debate me in a series of debates, and I'll debate him every day until Election Day.
All right, Carl Paladino, appreciate you being with us. We're going to watch this campaign race very closely. It's very tight. It's a 6-point race right now in a very blue state like New York. Thanks for being with us.